Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I'd like to welcome you all to episode number 12 of my slasher movie archives. In this video, I will be giving my review for The Clown Doll, He'll Love You to Death, originally released in 2019. Blood, a high body count, and a creepy clown. What else could you want? Okay, so getting into the plot for this one. After purchasing a clown doll from a creepy antique store, Lane begins to receive mysterious and threatening phone calls from an unknown caller. She begins to suspect that the voice of the caller may be that of the clown doll communicating to her via static energy. Now, as her loved ones begin vanishing, Lane must figure out if the clown doll is truly alive. Otherwise, she may be next. Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one, I went into this movie with low expectations. It was a complete blind buy. I didn't know anything about this movie. All I knew was I like movies about creepy dolls, and I also like clown movies. So I was intrigued by it, and I thought I would give it a try. And I thought this movie was pretty decent. I do have a few minor nitpick issues with it, but nothing that really hurt my overall enjoyment of the movie. My biggest complaint for me would have to be that the movie just lacked originality. It seemed to borrow a lot of ideas from several other horror movies. Or maybe that's just my fault for seeing too many horror movies. But I couldn't help but think while I was watching this movie, hey, this reminds me of this movie, or hey, this reminds me of that movie. And I was going to go into full detail and break down and compare it to other movies that it clearly drew some inspiration from, but I have decided not to do that, and instead, I will just say that don't be surprised when going into this movie if it reminds you of other horror movies. But even with that being said, at its core, I really enjoyed the psychological elements to the storyline, and thought the movie had a decent amount of suspense that kept me interested throughout the movie's runtime. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the characters we have in The Clown Doll. The main character of this movie's storyline is Lane, played by Sarah T. Cohen. She was also in another movie I recently reviewed called Cupid from 2020. She's a great young actress. Lane is a noble and likable character that has recently come out of a bad relationship, and now she is trying to put her life back together. She has decided to help out her stepbrother John and his wife Lisa, who was played by an actress who was also in the Cupid movie that I had just mentioned. Lane has decided to help John and Lisa out because they were unable to have a baby on their own, so Lane is acting as a surrogate for John and Lisa. Lane is pretty far along in the pregnancy and has found out that being a surrogate is not so easy and is having thoughts of keeping the baby. So there's some psychological roller coaster stuff going on with Lane. And as I had said before, she is a noble and likable character overall, but she still makes some bad decisions like buying a creepy life-size clown doll from an antique store. She also has phone conversations with a strange caller, just some random person who she doesn't know. Of course, we know who the caller is, but it's just kind of odd that she would carry on conversations with a complete stranger over the phone. You can tell that she clearly knows that it's an unusual situation, but you can also tell that she's enjoying the attention. And something that may be even more off than that was she seemed to be using a landline phone that didn't even have the cord plugged in. Anyway, so moving on, some of the side characters that we have in this movie are Lane's mother, who has put her up in a nice apartment that used to be a part of a church. We also have Lane's supportive best friend, and we also have a couple of throwaway characters at the beginning of the movie. And if you pay close attention to the opening of the movie, you will understand what the clown doll does to people who get too close, how it uses people and sets them up. Overall, I really enjoyed the characters we have in The Clown Doll, and I thought for the most part that all the acting was pretty solid. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important part of a slasher movie, that is the killer and the kills. I absolutely love the look of the life-size killer clown doll in this movie. I really like how the face of the doll looked handmade. I thought that was really cool. We do get a brief backstory on the clown doll. We find out that it was originally a serial killer who murdered women, and that this serial killer died in 2001. We don't get any explanation that I can remember on how this serial killer's soul ended up in this clown doll. So maybe it was voodoo, or maybe it was just good luck, who knows. As far as the kills go in this movie, it has a pretty decent body count, I would say. The back of the DVD says it has a high body count, but I only recall this movie having around 5 or 6 kills. And I think that's a pretty decent body count, but not what I would consider to be a high body count. Most of the kills consist of stabbings, but we also have a fan kill and a electrocution thrown in for good measure. Overall, I enjoyed The Clown Doll. It is a movie that I will watch again at some point. I recommend it if you like slasher movies about creepy dolls, or if you simply like clown movies. I really like the psychological elements of the storyline. IMDb give The Clown Doll a 3. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. So please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you have seen The Clown Doll, or just let me know what you think about my review. And as always, I would like to thank you all for watching.